first, I want you to introduce yourselves to our guests. Please, Abdullah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abdullah Al-Bahrani. I'm from Sultanate of Oman as a country, of course, and I'm from Omantel. I'm responsible about the digital services in Omantel.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tim Cobley. I am one of the world's many independent consultants. There are many of them in the world and in the telecom business. I have a company called Eaton Travers Consulting, and I work in partnership with a company called Transaction Focus. And our job is to bring together companies like the companies that we see here today to give them access to international markets through the contacts that we have in 40 countries around the world, and we shorten the sales process by putting them in touch with contacts that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Erhan. I've been working for a long while in the telco business, almost 20 years. I've been on these roles before, worked along in Turkey. For the last 3 years, I've been in UK. I'm working for Comark, a software powerhouse from Poland, and just covering all the global regions of telecommunications industry for OSS and BSS solutions. And glad to be here.
Thank you so much, and welcome on behalf of the organizers to Turkey. I hope you enjoy your stay in Turkey. Good.
Very well.
Very good.
Very well.
So first of all, I want to talk about how has digitalization improved amongst telecommunication industry as a telco operator perspective. Abdullah, you may tell us how digitalization improved your services.
Thank you for the questions. First of all, we need to understand that the digital worldwide, like it's affecting right now in the country's GDP. All right, so the thing says, like, if we can see the GDP of like countries, like for example, if I'm going to talk about the GCC, we will see, like for example, 3.8% in UAE, Oman is 1.6, all right, Qatar 2.0, all right. So it is start to be a very important for the companies to be digitized, not only just for as a company itself, but even for the national income, all right? So the thing says, like, we will see, like, if we will go for the international also as well, I have like some numbers, all right? If we will check, for example, the United States, the GDP of United States from the digital services is 9%. All right, it's not that much far, but if we compare it to China, it's 40%. All right, so now if we are going to talk about like the new generation, the way of living, and if we are going to forecast, for example, what type of services that we are going to providing, which affecting actually our telecom business in a big way. Like you will see, like for example, let's assume if we are going to talk about the normal telecommunication services that we are providing to our, let's say, customers, and how big we are, and what, for example, how big is our, let's say, customer base, all right? So we started the real digitizing from 2018, all right? And the curve started, we call it the S curve, all right, for the normal services that we are providing, all right? So it started in 2018 with, like, let's say, 135,000 customers base. Now in 2024, we are 2 million, all right? So our country, as Oman, for example, we don't have that much population, all right? The total population of Oman is 4 million, okay? So that we are having 2 million of them as a customer base, it's a big number. It's a 50%, and they are the people who are the workers, the new generations, and the people who are using actually the technology, all right, if you compare it. Of course, we have other competitors like other telco companies in the country. We are not the only company which is there. So now we have a big challenge because the services that we are providing to our customers, it's done, khalas, finished. We cannot provide more telco services, all right? So, and the top management will ask you always to what? To increase your customer base. But we don't have much customers. So to what you will do? We did one, let's say, a big step by acquiring Zain Group, for example, to expand our customers outside the country. All right? But is that enough? Because it will reach for the same problem, right? So the other one, if we are having, like, for example, the chart, you will see like the customer increasing is in a one way. You cannot add more to it, all right? But another way, we need to increase our products. So we should bring new products to our customers instead of making more customers, bringing more customers where like we cannot, khalas, done. Especially when I'm talking about like Oman, if I'm going to focus on Oman. So to do that, here like where the challenge is going to be. And here where I'm going like to give examples with big companies who started big and they failed. Like for example, if you remember, what's the most valuable company in 2000? What's the most valuable company in 2000? Anybody knows? It was Yahoo. It was with 25 billion, the cost of Yahoo. In 2016, what happens to Yahoo? Crashed, all right? If we are going to talk about BlackBerry, it was having 50% of the market share of all the mobiles worldwide, all right? What happened to BlackBerry after that? It collapsed. But why? Because they stopped the innovation. That, yani, we need to innovate. We need to create the product. Now, I will give you an examples of, let's say, big two companies that we can see. Like, for example, if I'm going to take Google, for example. Now, Google. What's the product of Google, may I ask? What's the product of Google, guys? Like someone,
Data.
he will say, like, for example, it is?
Data.
Data. But the product, not the business.
Let's say the search
the
engine.
data, search engine. But is it the only product they have? No. They start the search engine. They bring YouTube. They developed, let's say, Google Maps. What they did also Gmail, for example, and Android as a platform, as an operating system
Play
for
Store.
all the mobiles.
Google Play Store.
Yeah. So the thing says, like, they keep on producing products, all right? And how they produce the products, is it just like that because the CEO said, like, do YouTube, do Maps? No. They did it because they have the data of the people. They knows what the people want. And accordingly to this, they keep on producing the product. So if I'm going to take Google as an example for me as Omantel, so what I'm going to need is the data to start innovating products, right?
May I come in here?
So,
May I come in here?
please.
So it's very interesting what you're saying about Google creating the applications, and also you are saying that you want to your company, your operator, to create new applications, new services.
New products.
New products. So my view is that the operators do not provide those products. It is the application vendors and it is the handset manufacturers, the amazing smartphones, and provided a huge platform for great applications to be created. That is what consumers are using, or that is what the users of a mobile network, for example, are using. When I was a small boy, they used to talk about, the operators used to talk about how one day we will be able to book tickets for the opera and book our restaurants on our mobile phones. And I said, well, I already do that. I simply pick up my phone, I dial the number, I speak, yes, I'd like to buy a restaurant ticket, please. In many ways, the operators were trying and trying and trying to make applications and services for their customers, but they didn't do it. In 2006, the smartphone, the iPhone came out, and all the applications that with it, and the rest is history. So they lost the opportunity to monetize the network. So I take a different approach on digital, and my view on digital is that digital transformation is a long and difficult journey, as you know, being an operator, and that the automation journey is a long and difficult journey. But what is the output? The output is actually to give cost reduction, operational cost reduction, and network efficiency improvement so that you can run your networks more efficiently at a lower cost base and compete. Whereas, or at the same time, Google Play, Apple Store are making their fantastic application. That is my view on digital.
You're right. But the thing is here, we are not, this is operational wise, yes, you're right. But I'm putting my customer as a centric. We have a strategy called like customer centric, where like everything is surrounding the customer, all right? So the thing is, here we are going to come with new products. I mean, like, we are converting Omantel from Telco to Tico, okay? So it's technology company more, platform company more, than a telecommunication firm. Let me give you, because the examples that I give for the failed companies, why? All right? Why, for example, the railroads for the trains failed? Because they focus on the railroads manufacturing, they are not focusing on the transport technology services. All right? So the thing is, to go with, we have to have the big picture. The telecom or the telecommunication company, if they just focus on the voice, SMS, internet, they will be dead.
May I just interrupt on that point?
Yeah, please.
I would like to say that, which is a very valid point. Most of the telecommunications companies are old as countries. So the mindset and the services are old as the countries. With that kind of sense, that's why now we're talking about digitalization and the developments in the regional level or the global level. The idea is just how that old entities follow up the new developments, which actually Abdullah is just telling through the Omantel. And there are some kind of different pillars. When it comes to digitalization, there might be a reason. Yeah, you're just catching in on all these kind of telecommunications fairs and events, everyone is just talking about AI. You may see everywhere, and today also on AI. And this is when we just start talking about digitalization, it comes up to our minds. But at the end of the day, as Tim and also Abdullah just mentioned, there are two different aspects. One is how we look at digitalization from the operator perspective, and also in the second level, how we look at from the customer end. So what are the outputs on that sense? So for the telecommunication operators, this is just right that, yes, cost reduction. But as I have seen, more and more time, if telecommunication operators just stay out of the scope, as Abdullah mentioned, instead of just putting as new products as Google just put, they will be just infrastructure entities, like construction companies. So at the end of the day, for a customer like me, let's say everyone's just going around in the streets and trying to call someone, you don't care that which operator that you're connected with. You are caring about what kind of application that you're using and what kind of service that you're getting. At the end of the day, as Google mentioned really well, so it's just over one single platform. I think the way that will be like that. So in Europe, or let's say talk about the regional perspectives on that way, in UK and Europe, there are some kind of mergers of the old companies. Before this panel, we have seen the three major players in the market, in the Turkey market. They have been running these services together within their own rooms for a long while. But at the end of the day, as we know, there might be a change, which has been happening. There is an open run discussions for a long while, just for a pool of mobile services that any kind of application can be used without the importance of any operator. In the same level, infrastructure sharing. This is also another kind of an information. Because at the end of the day, as an end customer, I would like to have the connectivity at my home. I don't care about what kind of service provider. And I also check that can I afford this one? This is also another kind of important point from the customer perspective. I mean, just please add from that perspective, how do you do it from a Montel? How do you check the affordability of the customer?
See, this is really good one, because as I said, like the data is one of the most important drive that will lead us to this. And if you will concentrate a little bit on what data for a telecommunication company can have, you will see like they have a lot of data about yourself that yourself you don't know about it, maybe. Telecommunication knows a lot about you guys, okay? So I know all your transactions, because whenever you buy anything, you know, you say like, how you know my financial transaction? Because there is a SMS will come to you that from the bank that you spent this and that money on that place, for example. So I know your transactions, your bill payments, I know your moving, you know, a lot of channels. So, but is this all data are important or enough for me to build that ecosystem that I can understand my customer and I can provide for him exactly the service that he's required, and not only the services, but how to be proactive at the same time, okay, by giving him exactly what he needs, exactly what he's looking for. So for here, I need to check other type of businesses where I can merge with them or have their data or acquire their data, so I will be more capable to predict or to know my customer more. So if you will check, you will see, like, for example, who's then that, if I'm going to talk another like organization like banks. Banks know a lot of things. صح? Banks, they know a lot of things. Retailers, they know a lot of things about you also. So if we imagine that I'm going to take the three businesses and put the customer centric, where like your financial, your retailers, and your telco on the same place where the customer's there, imagine how big the data, or what's the size of the data I will be able to have, okay? I didn't mention something. We have something called the one-stop shop. It's a strategy that I am having, all right? Well, like, for example, even a third-party services for another government institutes, like, for example, healthcare, traffic fines, all right, insurance services, all right, bill payments for electricity and utilities, for example, I can have them. I already have them, all right? So all those datas where like it will support me to build, let's say, three major things, or let's say fintech services, marketplace, strong marketplace, which will lead me to have the super app that I'm going to provide to my customer, where all the services is going to be on.
So let me, sorry.
Please.
No, I wanted to thank you for that. I wanted to just bring in one point. That's a very bold statement. I think it's a very ambitious statement, because the world of data capture there are so many products every day coming up which allow us to capture data and do stuff with it, right? And now when we get that data and we collate it and we process, what do we do with it then? And I think your ambition is to do something with it, which is very good. But you could also, I mean, it comes back to my point that I don't think the operators do that with respect particularly well.
Not yet.
And I think that there are companies out there, for example, Telenity, which is here today. Telenity has created their own application store, which provides a myriad of applications and digital applications, and they call it Encudo, and they provide this as a solution to operators to buy these off the shelf, which is a really good thing to do. If I can give you a perspective from the UK,
please.
In the UK, we went from, I think, 6 mobile operators to 5 to 4, We have 4 today. One of them was came because it was the merge of 2 others, and then it was bought by BT. So we have 4 major operators today. We are about to go down to 3 with the potential merger of Vodafone and Hutchison, 3 in the UK. And this is being driven by the need to reduce costs, be more efficient. But the interesting thing is that these companies were at futureworld.net a couple of weeks ago, and Vodafone was saying that 2 things. The major thing they were saying is if they're going to continue to make money and monetize the network, they have to go beyond offering connectivity.
Beyond the core business.
Beyond the
Yeah,
Now, it's 2024.
Yes.
They were
This is
saying
I'm
that.
talking,
This
yes.
is 2024. They were saying the same thing 10 years ago and the same thing 10 years before that.
Yeah.
The head of BT Technology said, things are going too quickly. Please stop with the 6G discussion already, right? Stop. We still have to monetize 5G. We still have to make 5G a viable alternative. Here today, lots of companies in the 5G space, right? Orange was very interesting. So Orange is doing a lot of work on working with the hyperscalers to create this generic mobile operator off the shelf that Erhan talked about. They said they need, this is what you said, they need to go to the end user and reverse engineer the requirement of what the end user has into a service so they can monetize it. So I think
Also
we have
creating the desire, of course.
Yes.
Not just giving what they need, also
No.
creating the desire for the customer for new services.
Actually,
giving them-
sorry.
giving them what they need based upon what the research,
Yes.
rather than making services and giving them it to them
Exactly.
whether they want it or not.
All the services, all the services that just in here just being designed, back in the day it was just put into the market by the operators. Now we can see that customers are just they want to see some kind of different services and through the applications. So it brings back to us some kind of different pillars. In here, there will be some operators as just the infrastructure service providers that will use that network as a service. That's one of the things that CTO of BT is just providing, and it is one of their services because they have a huge network all over the world. Network as a service in that kind of sense will be a solution for some operators. Second thing, on that kind of level, we have lots of participants in here as their stands, like Comarch. The digitalization of their networks, how they automize, how they just do some kind of more automated, more AI ops on their services. This is one of the things. The second part is just where the combination of all these mergers happen, like Virgin Media, Telefonica, O2. Now there will be additional some kind of mergers. They are just creating some federations. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing is what customer wants. This has been driven from that perspective. Because hyperscalers now are coming. Hyperscalers want to just they have everything. As Abdullah said, Google has everything, but they only need some kind of connectivity through mobile. That's the only thing. And Starlink is now coming as the, extra layer of networks. So additional part is the applications. As said, there are lots of different fintech industries in here. So maybe not now, maybe 2, 3 years or 4 years from now, we will be having all these kind of sections instead of fintech and telecommunications, infrastructure layer, maybe the operations layer, and the applications layer. That will be like that, like the OSA layers that we know from the beginning. It will be going to that direction, and that's what customer drives. I only want every kind of customer would like to be aware. We are also, every one of us as customers, that we have the power to change the telco world. Back in the day, it was not possible. But now there is a possibility for each and every end user to affect through, because the usage of the network, what kind of networks and what kind of connectivity that we've been using, it's also really important. During the pandemic times, we realized that this is a real case. And all these kind of ways that people, telco operators stuck maybe in some talking about AI, but we need to focus more on how we help customers, maybe in some social cares or other kind of stuff. So with Tim has great ideas, all this one. I also asked.
Just I would like to add into that. We have one experiment that we already did it, yani. but we are make it bigger right now. But just to mention that all what I'm saying right now, especially about the fintech, about the super app, about like let's say the marketplace. All right, this is coming inshallah. By December it should go live. In June, the soft launch for it. All right.
Very
So
good.
the thing is,
Congratulations.
yes, exactly. Now we have something called circle of life. All right.
That's good.
Each customer, okay, have his own circle of life. Starting like when he starts waking up in the morning, what he's doing, sport, drinking coffee, going directly, for example, by his car. So the thing says what gym he's going, for example, what coffee he's like to drink, where like he to visit, where he's hanging out, where exactly, right? So the thing says, when we know all those details, now the service is going to be really personalized on him. So your dashboard is different than mine.
Yes, of course.
Okay? And the thing says, like, I'm not going to give you, for example, we do have a loyalty point called Makasib services. Okay? So the Makasib things, it will not suggest you something that you don't use as a gift from the operator itself.
We need diversity.
Exactly. It's very personalized. So it will give you your favorite coffee. It gives you your favorite ride. It will give you your favorite sport gym. It will give you whatever you would like based on the data that we already collected about you. But the thing says, now to do all these things, there is a lot really big challenges. There is culture challenges. There is competency challenges that we already have. That's why, in order to do that, as a telecommunication company, like for example in Omantel, we got, let's say, courses linked directly with Stanford University in the Silicon Valley in the US, where like it's Harvard of the IT. It's one of the best universities in the IT in the world, all right? So those, in the past 2 years, we certified 30 people from 100 who participate in that program. 30 of them get certified in digital growth, in design thinking, in in organizational digital transformation, and all these things. So to make sure, like the people who are going to lead this program in the coming, let's say, time, they have competency and they have the capability to do it. All right. So the thing says it is, and also to link yourself with right companies. Like for example, right now, I'm going to build, let's say, for example, my marketplace. According to our, let's say, research that we did, 45% of Omanis, they are buying online from, imagine from where? Amazon. Although Amazon, they don't have direct shipment to Oman, if you can imagine. They will use, like, for example, Aramex Shop and Ship to bring what they are buying from Amazon US. All right? So 45%, will give you an indicator how people are looking for such services to be provided in the country by themselves. So that's why, for example, we are using Amazon Engine as a marketplace to be developed, an Omani marketplace to start with. And here we are not using like their services, but we do have something called build, operate, transform models.
Yes.
The BOT model.
Starting from planning, all the development and all the operations and
then it will be handed over to us.
We have last 3 minutes. I want to take your last words, starting from Erhan.
We could just check from this, we just checked from the customer perspective, we just checked for the technology, but one more important thing is about the RISE, which actually connects to the same first point that you just shared. There is a huge data now Google has, and also operators has. And we're just talking about all these kind of technologies. At some point, the security of this data, plus how we use and how we process this one will be a big issue in the near future. Because as long as we just keep saying all these kind of stuff, personalized things and everything will just becomes more and more important. It's not the same, probably they have the same campaigns or the usage rates in Oman and Kuwait, most probably. Right. That comes to the point of local, because this is a term that everyone is just trying to be in global in some sense, but we need to keep the local values. Only collecting the data and understanding the behavioral ways will not be enough. So that becomes the meaning of the culture also. till AI will be more super level, let's say, we need to keep people with a multicultural perspective. That's what I can say.
Thank you. Thank you. Tim?
Thank you. Lots of good information, lots of things to think about here today. I take a very pragmatic view on a lot of this. In a world where millions of dollars are being spent by network operators and telecom operators, being spent on automation frameworks, digitalization frameworks, and using AI platforms to reduce cost and improve efficiency. I still cannot get a signal in my home, right? I still cannot drive my car round to the shop without the call dropping. So these are some of the fundamental issues that still exist in networks, particularly in my country. And I would like to hope that the transformation journeys that the operators and telcos are going on will help to do two things. One, reduce cost, pass on the cost reduction to the consumer. And secondly, make it an absolutely 100% watertight, secure, and reliable service. And that is what I think I would like to see.
Great.
So what I'm going to say is like disruptive technology is there, the emergent tech. If you don't use it, you'll be left behind.
Yes.
This is number one. Second things, who own the data is the king. Okay, so data equal information, information equal to knowledge. Knowledge will make you make the right decisions.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to say. So for all the companies who's like really want to survive and to grow, to focus on innovations.
It's very good.
Thank you so much, friends. It was a fruitful panel. For me, really, I enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And again, welcome to Turkey. If we have questions for 1 minute, if you have any questions.
That's good.
I think there's not. Good. Thank you so much for listening to us, and have a great weekend till weekend for the fair. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you so
everybody.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.